Good morning to everyone. Thank you for joining our webinar today. I'm Luz Oblinger, and I have the pleasure of being your moderator in this second session of Agrovisiones, in which we will talk with an expert on sustainability and development of innovation ecosystems, the agribusiness sector in Latin America and the Caribbean. Next to me, virtually, we have an expert in the field. It's about Teresita Di Marco. She holds a PhD in international relations with a specialization in sustainability and is a principal at the Yield Lab LATAM, in addition to being a part of the team of the Yield Lab Institute. Her work focuses on the development of ecosystems that drive technology adoption, digitalization, and innovation in the agribusiness sector in Latin America and the Caribbean. Welcome, Teresita. Thank you very much, Luz. To begin, Teresita, could you provide us with an overview of the mission and the goals of the Yield Lab LATAM and the Yield Lab Institute in the agriculture and food technology sectors? Of course I can. Thank you. Thank you to the entire audience and to the FAO team that has called upon me to participate in this event, in this initiative that once again FAO is so productive and interesting to be able to reach followers on more novelties in all the trends in the agri-food industry, new productive food systems. So thank you very much for your invitation. I would like to tell you, yes, that Yield Lab LATAM and Yield Lab Institute, it is an entrepreneurial fund which invests in companies of high impact in the agri-food industry. So what it means is we observe everything around innovation and new technologies that are in the line of the agri-food supply chain, from agro, marketplace, the entire process in the value chain. We seek to find the best entrepreneurships and support them by providing funds and a great deal of articulation with the agro-system and accompaniment in order to support the development. We are coordinated to attain this objective with the Institute, which is the arm of the Yield Lab. The Yield Lab Institute has the role to support entrepreneurs so that their solutions can truly penetrate markets and help in the development of new systems and production for food in a more sustainable context. Very well, very easy to understand your answer. What motivated you to participate at a more personal level, and has your trajectory been? Well, my trajectory so far, I had worked in foundations and NGOs, and my first approach to the agro world begins in a project that I had the opportunity to participate in. It is the ILO process to map the child labor in certain crops, like what happened with child labor in sugarcane and other products, and observe this from understanding the reality of the agro-food systems and also the impact it holds in that which relates to social, environmental areas. So I was quite close to the sector. I wanted to know and learn how could I provide more input so that the agri-food system would be more sustainable, what kind of impact, positive impact it can have in society, by also caring for the environment. I was beginning my PhD in international relations. I thought to myself, why not start studying the agro industry? What is the impact? Sustainability is a new trends. And that's when that path that was extremely interesting, it took me to understand this area, how innovation, technology and the new trends can promote us to think and rethink how do we produce and consume the food that is on our table on a daily basis. Well, from that standpoint, I began with innovation, technologies. My first project was Yield Lab Institute, was very important with the United Nations involved, with the environmental program of United Nations, where they called upon me to begin the innovation challenge. This was the middle of the pandemic. Well, I was trying to find out what was going on with innovations in Latin America that were seeking to develop programs with sustainability, and it was one project after another, one more extraordinary after the other, and with a great deal of energy and involvement. I have been a part of this Yield Lab LATAM and provide my input in the institute. Very deep responses. Thank you very much for your answer. I would like to know what are the initiatives or key projects that Yield LATAM and Yield Lab Institute have undertaken to promote innovation in agriculture and food technology. Look, Luz, we always thought that we are facing a change in paradigm that is promoted not only because of technology, but also because of the opportunities that lie ahead of us. We know we need to produce more in a more sustainable manner. This is an objective, but also an enormous opportunity to help rural communities that produce their food, to insert ourselves in a more dignified manner in the ecosystem, in the market. We have many opportunities behind these major challenges. And the idea of thinking that it is important to change the paradigm made us think about this strategy. We have to look at this in parallel manners. We have to develop a bottom-up strategy, which means to work very closely with the producers, with the farmers, with the entrepreneurs, so that from them there is a flow of new ways of producing food based or having as an access innovation and technology. But we are completely aware that we need to commit the main institutions that are capable of moving the process of these ecosystems, and we need to make sure we board this boat to the those that are interested parties, which is the strategy top down, to try to strategize bottom up and top down so that we can find new production manners. We have thought of two pillars to work concretely promoting offer in agro-food tech. When we talk about this offer, we talk about the innovations, entrepreneurs, startups, work hand in hand with universities, work with innovation hubs, everything that has to do with seeds production, but also in programs, on the other hand, that allows us to traction this process, working programs that with the accompaniment of large companies, we integrate the supply chain of these different links that we have a match between the offer and demand. So what's happening today? Today we have a market of innovation and startups that promote solutions for agri-food tech. Many a times they promote solutions that do not connect with the problems that exist in the sector. So working in these programs that articulate offer and demand, we can help the entrepreneur to understand that their solutions are aligned with the problems that are faced by the market. And also the corporations understand, reach the solutions more directly, and so that the dialogue between what is a startup, a corporation, the dialogue that could take place, a corporation with its small producer or small farmer can flow in a more positive context. facilitate and articulate these connections. This is what we seek today at LATAM. Yield Lab LATAM. This is very valuable, without a doubt. This methodology, mixed methodology of bottom up and top down, is very interesting. Can you share some success stories or case studies that highlight the impact of your organization in this ecosystem? Surely, to refer, if you will, in this offer and demand, I will give you an example of what it has been a success story in strengthening our entrepreneurship. And one of the most extraordinary examples is a startup which today it is part of our portfolio, which is called Sioma. Sioma is a startup that began in Colombia that develops solutions for banana and palm production. And they, for those that know Colombia or that are hearing us from Colombia, they know when I talk about apartado, I'm talking about a very difficult zone to access. It's not close to the city. It takes many days to reach apartado because you have to take small planes. It takes about 4 hours to get there. Well, there we had detected that these entrepreneurs were there, and we had a great illusion to reach and reach them and understand what was going on. And we recognized that innovation that can reach more impact sometimes are at the center of productive centers or at the core of them. You have to detect the entrepreneurship. You have to be capable of reaching that location, venture to go there, invest money to be able to reach those entrepreneurs, and so on. So Sioma has ended up being a startup with their team. It is a startup that has given us enormous happiness. They are expanding. They are expanding to Central America. This adventure of seeking this nucleus of production centers has been very wealth of information and very successful. And we're very happy to have reached and sought out this very extraordinary producer and success story on the side of what the demand is. Of course, we're always trying to not going to the philosophy of what a success is. Activities that generate positive reaction. I don't know if we can talk about it as a complete sexual success, but these are actions that create positive impact in the ecosystem. I can tell you about a project that we have today underway in Mexico, which is called Agrovisiones. It is an open innovation table, and where we have agro organizations, Bayer, Danone, Nestle, BBUVA, Big and Best, Amazon, and Monterrey to consolidate with 9 involved parties, which are part of the infrastructure. They are stakeholders in the industrial aspect of Mexico to discuss innovation, to reach conclusions that are very productive in each topic, and see how to explore that they can drip their entire line and their small producers with solutions, with technology, helping them to achieve the knowing how to adopt technology, to work and consolidate and commit them to doing this. It is a very positive action that we are seeking to replicate in other countries, Colombia, Southern Cone, Central America, in order to involve the agro industry from the standpoint of stakeholders, to come close, to become involved in creating actions in their value chain. So these would be 2 cases that I would like to share with you today. Thank you very much, Teresita, for Sioma and for the case of Mexico. Now, as far as collaborations and alliances, how do you become involved with the startups and research agencies, the governmental organizations to promote sustainability in agriculture. Thank you, Luz. Well, it's a very interesting question. We are 12 people in our team. We have offices in 5 countries, one in Brazil, one in Argentina, in Chile, Mexico, and Miami. Notwithstanding this, the 12 people in 5 offices are able to take on a large project like the one that we are trying to support from the ecosystemic standpoint, which through innovation and technology, we're able to achieve a sustainable agricultural systems. It was very important to be able to work and align ourselves with ecosystems. We have tried that each program, and we are very respectful that each program and project that we begin at each locations, we need to look for partners in the locations to come with us in a way that we can just transfer our know-how. We have one know-how, which is a small portion of the knowledge we have, so that this objective can take on force. But we constantly seek to align ourselves with partners, to go in hand with other partners. And we have discovered extraordinary support with Argentina. We have an alliance with producers, Nested, Apresid. In Chile, we have research centers like CERN. In Mexico, we have alliances with in Monterrey, in Honduras, with Zamoranos, in the United States, with various in St. Louis, various institutions for center. These alliances allow our know-how in the sector to connect and weave these into the ecosystem. So it is something that is an opportunity for all. Thank you, Teresita. Now, as far as the collaborations and alliances you refer to, is one specific that you would like to refer to that generates breakthroughs or discoveries in the industry? There is an alliance that is very interesting that we have been involved with and working with for many years, and it's a reality today. It's a project that commits us and involves us strongly. It's a project that's called Cultivar. It's a very beautiful name to cultivate, in a way, cultivar in Spanish, and in English and in Spanish, of course, in alliance with what we call as a benchmark, which is the ecosystem Alifood of St. Louis in the United States. This alliance with institutions in St. Louis, which are extremely committed to food production with new productive, sustainable systems, we work with them to articulate the integration of ecosystems in LATAM, their exchange with knowledge of the ecosystem of St. Louis in the United States. What it seeks is to improve on learning curves, is to take all the know-how we have in Latin America and our capacity that we have in Latin America to support the projects in St. Louis. I want to be clear here. We're not looking for that the talent that is in Latin America go to the United States, but rather generate connections so that we can add value, and so that all the talents that they have and the knowledge that they have developed in an ecosystem that has been working for more than 25 years can truly transmit to Latin America knowledge about how the structure has been created, the sustainable. It began from very little, based on trust of some producing families that saw that St. Louis was a very important place to develop and promote technology and innovation, and they built a very important ecosystem. And hand in hand with Cultivar, we have had various meetings. We have had exchange with Latin America and the United States. We carried one out last year, where we had more than 30 stakeholders in different countries in Latin America. We had the first meeting where we had 23 stakeholders of 24 countries. We're going to have the next one in Brazil in June, and then there's going to be a meeting in Argentina in August. And what we seek is to create network of knowledge, of ecosystem, and exchange of ideas. This is a very important and powerful for Latin America and for the exchange of ideas, the exports of knowledge, and of course, to cut the learning curve, to shorten these learning curves, rather. This is very key. Thank you for your answer. Now, let's take on the challenges and opportunities that exist in this sector. Tell us a little bit about the main challenges and opportunities that you see for entrepreneurs and innovators in agriculture and food technology in Latin America and the Caribbean, in the region. There are many challenges and many opportunities. If you ask me specifically about the challenges, I believe that to be able to train and continue promoting human talent in entrepreneurs and startups, to go in hand with the startups, and is a major challenge. It's also the digitalization of the agro food systems to reach the small scale farmers is a major challenge, and the main note where many of the difficulties arise is through commercial channels, the trade channels, to reach the small scale farmer producer. It is a high value for a startup. It's difficult to access them. And that's where the opportunity lies. We know it's a challenge for entrepreneurs that have solutions and can reach small scale farmers. And we have the opportunities to work with those that can go closer to them and disseminate the information in those areas, which are the corporations that have in their value chains the small scale farmers. We try to work hand in hand with investors like Nestlé or Bimbo that try to generate programs that will help entrepreneurs reach small scale farmers. If we're talking about small farmers that have their value chain in Nestle or a Bimbo, you can impact them and they can utilize or facilitate a commercial channel or trade channel in that line. And this is a major challenge that exists in the industry today. And there is a great deal to become the stakeholders involved. Another challenge is connectivity, financing. These are challenges that are of great significance, but if we look at the trajectory of our sector and industry, this is an industry that's new, if you will. It hasn't been very involved in the development of technology, and we seek the challenges to be able to generate opportunities behind the challenges that we need to help entrepreneurs handle. Thank you very much, Teresita. Now, going towards the future, tell us, what are the visions or projections of technology in the region, particularly in sustainability, this digitalization, and the impact on communities? Now, what we observe from what is coming to us, there will be sectors within agri-food tech. They will be able to have a significant growth. When we talk about technology and seeking the technology that they're trying to offer. Now, the sectors that are going to grow enormously in the future is related to biotechnology in various areas, biotechnology in new ways of protein production, but also biotechnology linked to the input. And this is all related to all the climate tech, all the technologies and innovations that are seeking to have a positive impact on the environment. So here we have biotechnology, climate tech, and of course, a third sector that we believe is already pushing in the last years and is going to continue growing is the area of fintech. Fintech, specifically speaking, understanding it as innovative ways to finance the agriculture, biotechnology, all the development of climate tech, and the development of new way of financing for the small scale producer are areas that are going to grow enormously. We have to look at this because the impact on sustainability is going to be very strong. What a fintech, the impact of a fintech that works and reaches a small scale producers is extremely important. We have it in our portfolio. There are certain fintechs that are very interesting and relevant. We have the case of Agroforti, a fintech that is in Brazil that seeks to have financing solutions for producers that work in small, short production, for example, milk production or production of different needs that need to work with the producers is going to be one of the most important trends. Thank you, Teresita. Now, given this change that is in future, how do you see the Yield Lab's role evolving in response to these future trends and challenges? In this moment in time, we find ourselves our third fund for investment of $50 million. We are expecting to invest in agrotech in the next 5 years. And this demands a responsibility of great structure. We have to begin very consciously. We want to help the small-scale producers that are going to enter the portfolio of Yield Lab can, in fact, progress and generate a great impact in the region. And for that, we have a gigantic challenge of mapping, going back to these productive cores to implement disruptive innovation that are solving and changing the manner in which production is taking place, impacting the productive society. We have an enormous challenge to relocate capital in a diversified manner. In countries of Latin America, we look a great deal at countries of Central America, Bolivia, Paraguay, Peru. We do not want to stay in the traditional startup markets of Brazil and Argentina. We want to expand our financing and give the opportunity and provide our help to supply providers that are participating in countries in Latin America and Central America with great impact. And our challenge is, without a doubt, in the next years, to be able to reach these entrepreneurs. Our challenge is going to go with them, accompany them, to have an articulation, a network, provide them with growth opportunities. This is what we seek to achieve, and we have great commitment with them. And I hope that whoever is listening to us that know about entrepreneurships that are developing and that are underway in Latin America and the Caribbean, and that please approach us, please share your case studies, dialogue with us, talk to us. We're very open to talking to entrepreneurs, and we want to receive mails. Hi, we're a team, we're developing this or that. Just tell us. It is constant to be in connection with entrepreneurs, to go with them, to respond to questions, to giving them advice. We're always open to that. And anyone that would like to, that is on the Yield Lab that you would like to discuss with, the doors will they will always be open to them. Thank you very much, Teresita. We really thank you for sharing your knowledge, experiences with us today. It has been an enormous pleasure to have Teresita de Marco, the Yield Lab LATAM, and the Yield Lab Institute with us today. I'm very thankful to everyone participating, and I would like to invite you to continue exploring opportunities for innovation in the agri-food sector. We hope you have a great day, afternoon, and evening, wherever it is you are watching us from. Thank you very much, Teresita. Thank you all, and thank you to the community. I am always available to you.